Assalamu alaikum and greetings to my Tasnim family. So for all of you that don't know me, my name is Devaki Khimji and I have the privilege and honor to lead this company as your managing director. Thank you all for being here today. And first of all, I would like to start today with a topic that is very, very close to my heart. It genuinely is. Health, Safety and Environment, HSC. So I joined this company in 2012. Some of the people that are here have been there longer than I have. My first assignment by my father was the oil and gas division. So again, that is a very, very close division to my heart, and I know the most about this division. I remember a story that when I first went to site, I was shocked. I had never ever seen an environment which was so barren, with nothing to do, and there was every shade of brown there with no other color. I remember one of our site managers took me around and said, "I'd like to show you a Christmas tree." And I was like, wow, Christmas tree? That means something green. And he took me and showed me a green pipe out of the floor, which had these valves that were sticking out of it. So that was my first introduction. I remember attending meetings and listening to abbreviations, LLRTP, VOWD, and I didn't understand a word. I thought it was a whole different language that everyone was speaking in. But anyway, with all of that, and over the last 12 years, I have learned a lot. The entire journey has been filled with excitement, moments of being proud, disappointment, failures, everything that every one of us faces. But the biggest lesson that I learned was from an experience that I had related to safety. I was on site and one of our colleagues had taken his car. I want to say one of our Tasnim family members had taken his car with a friend and driven home at night in his private vehicle on a shift change day. They met with an accident and both of them were in hospital. And because I was in Marmul, I drove to Salala where they were taken into the hospital. One of them was injured severely and the other one passed away right there in front of all of us. It saddened me, but in 15 minutes after that, his mother and father arrived. The sight that I saw where his mother was so upset and crying, and she had to be given an injection to sedate her because she couldn't take the grief of losing her son to that kind of an accident. It impacted me deeply, deeply to a level that I made up my mind that I was going to do everything in my power and have something big that I do every single year with regards to safety and well-being of the Tasnim family. I realized that it's not the individual that we lose. That individual is a father, a brother, a mother, a sister, a friend, and it is those people's lives that get affected because they are going to live their entire life knowing that they lost that person, not due to natural causes, not due to God's will, but due to an accident that could have been avoided. Yeah. So over the 12 years, of course, we have come up with many, many initiatives, and I'm sure that you've heard that in many different meetings. For example, the Click campaign, the hazard hunt room, and of course the ILMS system. As you all know, the ILMS system is I feel, one of the best in the world, right? We have done 174 million kilometers without a motor vehicle related LTI. That's a huge achievement. And that did not happen by luck. It happened because of the ILMS system. It is because our people embraced that system and made it part of their culture. They made it and they accepted that. And today, everyone in the country talks about it. For example, you know, when there was an accident of a school bus, do you remember that? Yeah, where so many children died. There were comments on Twitter and all of that saying that you should get the Tasnim system in all school buses. And that was a moment of pride for me. So these initiatives are something that stem from genuine care. So I would really like all of you to embrace those and give constructive feedback rather than reject it and say, oh God, one more thing that we have to do. Because they're done, and the amount of money we spend is only and only for the safety of all members in the Tasnim family. Just like that, this year, we're coming up with the Safety Leadership Cascade program, which we are going to call Tawasul. Now, yes, we had Tawasul as a project, as a campaign, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And this time we have the privilege and honor by PDO, who has appointed a consultant and who's going to guide us through this program, right? What is this program? We as leaders sit in this room and we talk about safety, but somehow that message doesn't trickle down to the last family member on the field, which is the worker. And this Safety Leadership Cascade program is a pilot that we're doing in Marmul and in Nima with PDO's assistance and JMJ, who is a consultant that is appointed. Yeah. What is that program? Basically, what we say, the messages we want, get cascaded all the way down to the last worker, hence making it our culture, right? We have a problem. When we talk about safety, the workers or even some of us, we follow the safety procedures or do safety only when someone is looking, which means that it is not in our DNA, it's not in our culture. I don't use the word if, so I'm going to say when we implement the Safety Leadership Cascade program Tawasul within our company, it will be the biggest achievement we have because it will become our culture. So as the first 5 messages that I would like in the Safety Leadership Cascade program, which is Tawasul, to go down right to the worker on the field in the front line, are the following. First and foremost, safety should be in every single decision and instruction that we give out. Every decision, right? If it is going to jeopardize your own or the safety of your other family members in the company, then that decision or instruction should be changed. That is number 1. Number 2, we need to make sure that we treat everyone like family. We cannot be taught everything. We cannot be taught about every hazard, right? But if you think of everyone as your own family member, it will instinctively come to you whether that action is safe for that person or not, right? Because you may not be taught it. But if you think of them as family, like you would your mother, your father, your child, or your spouse, if you think of them as family and as brothers and sisters, your decisions will be safe for them. That is number 2. Number 3, ensure that every single person has the ability and feels safe. I don't mean ability, but feels safe around you to be able to speak up, to give their ideas, to talk to you about their problems, their challenges, and to challenge you if you have come up with any suggestion. They should not be scared of a consequence. There's a little story around that. I used to go around telling every single worker on the site that you have the authority to speak up. And there was one person, a worker, that came up to me and said, you tell us this and you give us certificates for the best intervention, but you don't know what happens to us afterwards, or we're scared that we will be fired afterwards by our supervisor. The 2 things to take home from that. The first is I felt very happy that a worker had the courage to walk up to the managing director of the company and tell me that. Yeah, it made me feel good. The second thing that happened was I asked him, I said, did this happen to anyone? Do you know of a story, an incident? He said, no, ma'am. I feel it. So even though that incident, he wasn't able to narrate if it happened to anyone or not, he did not feel safe to speak up. So please make sure we have a culture of making sure that everyone feels safe to speak up. Yeah. The 4th is to embrace the initiatives that we bring in. Embrace them with your heart. Don't just follow it because I have put it in or the company has put that initiatives. Actually make it a success. Don't follow a tick box activity saying, okay, I did this because I had to, I did this, because safety is not about that. No matter how many procedures and initiatives we come up with, if you do not embrace those initiatives as your own and make them succeed, we will not be able to achieve the result. Okay? And the last but not the least, compliance. Compliance is the theme for this year, for 2024, as you all know. But compliance is I would say, intrinsically a difficult thing to do. Complying means following rules and regulations and procedures. Yeah. With regards to safety, I have a story with that. It's going to be quite harsh. It's not a pleasant thing to hear, but it is the truth. Rules and regulations are there to protect us, yeah? And in this part of the world, which is the East, whether it's India or the Middle East, we all have a belief system that God decides our day of birth and our day of death. Is that right or wrong? Yeah, we all believe that. I have seen a huge challenge amongst our Tasnim family members where they, after every incident, and this is throughout the 12 years that I've been in the company, where when someone passes away, they say God's will. But I have another take on that. Let's talk about identifying the difference between suicide and accident, between murder and accident. Do we all agree that suicide and murder are not acceptable in any religion? Yes or no? So, that is not God's will. When you commit suicide, or when anyone commits suicide or they commit a murder, that's not God's will. Someone made a decision to end their own life or someone else's life because, they chose that. It was a choice. It wasn't God's will. So now putting it into the safety perspective, right? Let's say there is a child and he's playing on top of the 10th floor at the window. He's a 4-year-old child. And he's playing over there, and sadly, he falls out of the window and hurts himself or dies. What is that called? That is called an accident. Why? That child did not know that it is unsafe. The child did not know that he has to take the stairs or not play on the ledge of that window. That is an accident. Now take an adult standing at the window and knows that the right way to go down to the bottom is to take the stairs or the elevator. He knows that he should not be bending too low over the windowsill. He knows that. So if he falls out of the window because he said, I'm going to go down quicker if I just jump out of the window, that is not an accident. That is suicide. If you do not follow the rules and regulations that have been set out for your own safety, it is not an accident, it is not God's will, and it is not accepted in any religion. And the same applies for murder. If someone else dies around you, for example, the story that I gave you, the individual that was driving fast that day when I went to the hospital survived. His friend passed away. He has to live with that for the rest of his life, knowing that his decision to drive fast killed a friend of his. So please understand the difference between accident, suicide, and murder. As hard and as difficult as these sentences from an MD of a company are, it is the truth. I would really like that this message is taken down to the person on the front line of the field, that knowing the rules and regulations is not enough. It is complying to them. Yeah? I would like to end today's session by narrating that Tasnim's safety mantra is make it safe, make it personal, make it home. Okay, thank you.